Hey everyone, in this video we're going to show you how to draw garlic. So grab your pencils and let's get drawing. What you want to do is first start off by just drawing the shape, the outline, which is going to be something in this capacity. Let's go out and we'll go under and then again on the other side. So probably go like this and we'll go down and back under. We'll fix that up. I think that was just a little too wide, but you get where I'm going with this. Start with your outline, and then what we'll do is we'll draw each clove on here as well. So this is going to be the view of the garlic from the outside. Garlic is really interesting. It's a very tasty food additive, or just even food on its own. It's delicious. So I'll tell you more about garlic as we draw, but what we'll do is we'll start out with the top and we'll have this piece kind of like this. It just happens to be the way I'm drawing this. It's not necessarily how all garlic looks, but just where the stem had broken off, we'll just draw it like that, okay? And we'll kind of have the left side a little higher than the right. We'll bring this down, and then we'll have this come over, as you can see over there. I think we want to just clean this up. I think this part over here should be just a little bit more bulbousy, if you will. And then at the bottom, it really should be more flat. So what we're doing is we're actually removing this inner line, and we're gonna get this nice and flat underneath. And we're gonna make sure the other side is the same. So if you're drawing this, what you wanna do is think of your bottom piece over here and just keep it nice and flat. If you ever seen garlic in real life, it's actually quite flat, so at the base. So make sure that your garlic that you're drawing is just as flat. So it's not symmetrical either. Like the left side does not have to be exactly the same shape or anything, but it is somewhat nice to have like a bit of a clear looking piece of garlic. So you definitely want like your left side to be you know, fairly symmetrical, but it doesn't have to be, was my point. China produces the most garlic in the world. I think they produce about 2/3 of the world's garlic. So they're what we call like a garlic juggernaut, if you will. And that's about 46 billion pounds of garlic per year. So quite the staggering amount of garlic that's produced. Let's start at the top and let's just draw some lines going down. Just over here, we're going to get a few, and our light source is over here. We're going to get a few lines going down, and what we'll do is we will start to draw our curvature lines like this. Let's go very lightly, and let's just start creating the foundation of these curvature lines that are going to exist. These are, in reality, what our garlic is going to take shape of. And coming straight at you, you definitely want to go straight down, and you're going to continue this process as you go around your garlic, right? So hopefully you're seeing this come to life. It's a simple process. It's easy to, you know, make a mistake in doing this. If you do, just grab your eraser and just clean it up. The other thing you can do is if you don't want to go from left to right, you can also just go from left to center, and then from right to center as well. That's just giving the foundation of what we're really drawing over here. We're gonna fix this up, so don't you worry. We'll also add some shading on the left because we have some light source coming from the right, okay? We're gonna draw the cloves. The cloves are the trickiest part to draw. But before we do, let's just actually draw the bottom. The bottom typically has a bit of what we call, I don't even know what the name of it is, but it's kind of some stemmage over here. So let's just draw a little bit of this kind of piece down here. And I just draw it with a little up and down motion, kind of just give it a bit of a fraying effect. In reality, it does have this bit of effect down here. So you should be able to just draw something like this to kind of make that look real. We'll fix it up after, but I just wanted to lay the foundation of this. And we'll, like I said, we'll fix it up afterward, okay? So we're gonna have a clove over here, and the best way to draw that clove is really to just establish where that clove is gonna be. So what I would say is, let's have the clove right here, like I said, and what we'll do is we'll have some darker tones right around this area. So what you can do is you can just add some more darker tones here. And while I do that, I'll tell you that the average person eats 300 plus cloves of garlic per year. So 300 cloves of garlic per year. That's actually only 2 pounds of garlic, but what that means is that it's 300 cloves. So 300 cloves, I guess, is 2 pounds of garlic, which is quite amazing. Notice the smudge technique just helps give you a bit more sense of realism here. Because what we just did was we kind of created an inner darker spot here, because this part is going to go in and you're going to have a bulb over here, right? A clove. You're going to do the same over here. So what we'll do is we'll go down and we'll go darker over here. So I don't know about you, but I really enjoy eating garlic. One of my favorite things to do is actually just put some olive oil on a frying pan. Turn the stove top on pretty light, and put up some minced garlic in there as well. The minced garlic really smells amazing, tastes amazing. Like, you know, what else can you really ask for but some delicious, I don't know if they call it, not oven roasted, but they call it like roasted or grilled garlic or something like that. But really, really, really delicious. So that's one of my favorite things to do. I know that causes some bad breath. I think everyone knows that fact. Garlic causes a lot of bad breath, but what are you going to do? It's probably worth it, isn't it? It's really worth that extra trouble, I find. So notice what we're doing here. We're slowly adding the shading to create the cloves. Each clove is a little bulbousy type of thing that exists. So you have this like lighter area over here, right? Light, 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 and that's really what we're doing. So what you can do is you can continue to add lines to go darker. So just add a few more lines like this, and a few more over here, and just repeat, okay? They say that garlic has a ton of health benefits, which I guess is why people eat so much of it. They say it's so good for you, it's so good for you, which I agree with. I won't go into each detail of the health benefit, but I know that garlic is really good for you. So hopefully you know that. Hopefully you're eating a lot of garlic and it's doing well for you. So let's work on the right side as well. So the right side is really interesting because you're gonna have we're actually gonna make one bulbousy piece over here and one over here. So this piece here is actually going to be quite large, and it's actually coming right out. It's coming right out at us. So I actually want to just get some eraser points here and just kind of see this area here is going to be coming out at us. That's the brighter part of the bulbousy clove, or whatever you want to call it. Right after it, I think what we'll do is we'll just get some darker lines around here. So all you have to do is really just use your average kind of mid-range pencil and just get some shading in there. Use your smudge technique, this smudge technique that you like, and just go up and down. Follow the line that you drew. So what you want to do is just follow the line that you drew, and I think that'll help also create like a really, realistic piece for yourself as well. So what we'll do is we'll just make sure that we clean up around the edges as well. And let's just carry this over right around, okay? You can always use your eraser to clean up anything that gets over your lines. And if your lines are a little too thick, like I'm finding this is a little too thick, you can always just go and erase and just redraw a bit lighter as well, okay? So I'm happy to do that. The other thing is you might want to put some darker tones at the bottom, just because generally you'll have some like more shadows at the bottom and less light coming towards the bottom of your piece as well. So nothing wrong with that. I would love to know if you eat garlic, if you want to tell me in the comments. That would be my favorite thing, to see some comments about garlic, so please let me know. Let me know. So what we're really trying to do is create this piece coming out, this piece coming out, that piece out, this piece out. So that's really what we're trying to do with this. So let's keep this going. I might want to erase some of the lines around the outside as well, just to soften things up. And even over here, just erasing some of this could soften this outer piece as well. So just like that is kind of a nice thing to do. Okay. There we go. See, like that looks a little better. It's a little softer, it's a little less harsh. You could do the same if you felt that you really needed to. So the tricky thing about garlic is there's these kind of lines that you might see on the whole piece of garlic, and that's probably the trickiest piece to draw. I would say grabbing a 5B is a great idea to put these on, and we'll start from top to bottom and just try to establish them. So what I would say is we could probably start with the middle and work our way left and work our way right. So I would say from the top, you're not really gonna see them, but probably more so around the middle, you will. Now, I'm not gonna start right at the middle. I actually prefer starting just to the left because it helps me set my guides. So what I'll probably say is, let's get this piece going down and just ever so slightly to the left and back over here. I did that purposely really, really light. I want that to be light because I'm really just, it's my first line in this drawing, in this part of the drawing. So I really want that to slowly take effect. So, and I'm not gonna carry it up right to the top. I'm gonna do this line just a little bit darker. And then what I'm probably gonna do is work my way left. So, yeah, let's get another line just to the side, and we're gonna go just ever so slightly, just like this. You can definitely go darker at the bottom, but that's not required for the line that we're doing, because this line, if you look at a real piece of garlic, really doesn't have to go darker at the bottom. There's actually a consistent level of darkness on these, I don't know what these lines are called, but there's definitely a line on the garlic, and there's a consistent level of tone throughout the top to the bottom. So I would definitely suggest to consider that. Don't think you have to go darker with this line as you go to the bottom, okay? So we're getting to that point there. Now what I would say is, as you go to these darker points, your line will actually go closer together. And the reason is because there's a bit of a concave or a little dimple or divot or whatever you want to call it over there. I would say that you want to get these lines just a little bit closer together. And I'd say 3 will do it for me. So 3 lines kind of closer together. That's kind of what I'm just outlining over here. Okay. And then as I get away from that divot, that interior part, you could definitely get your line out just a little wider as well. So see how I'm purposely going wider there? And over here, I will continue. And the interesting thing is, even though I said that in the dark spots, they're closer together, they're also closer together on the outer parts of the garlic, because in your perspective drawing, those outer parts are kind of farther away, right? And that's true with anything that you're drawing in which you're drawing perspective lines, right? So notice how that really just changed. Like if I just showed you that looks a lot better than obviously just that. So let's continue to the right side and let's move forward. I can tell you as well that garlic, and the word for garlic actually has been said to come from the Anglo-Saxon word spear, which is gar, and plant, which is lac. So garlic, spear, plant, which I guess garlic grows with these green shoots up top. So I believe that's where they got like those words from. So interesting. Let's continue. So the darker line right here, what we might want to do is do a few side by side. Like I said, they should be closer together. So let's get a few more down here. And I think at this point you kind of want this area to be a bit more straight. And that's how we'll do that over here. So just, you know, careful with it. Sometimes things get, there's a lot there, so maybe we should just try to slowly get this. Yeah, that's better, that's better. Okay, and then maybe what we'll do is we'll just get another line over here and we'll really start to get this going out. See, now that we're increasing the spacing, it's going to start looking a lot more realistic. So let's keep this moving. And now we're in a dark spot, aren't we? So dark spot meaning these lines will definitely come in a lot closer together. Don't rush it. If you do rush it, you might find that your lines look a little off or look a little kind of off-putting, so try not to rush it if you can. You can also start from the bottom and work your way up. The way that I'm positioned, and I'm not putting my head right on top so I don't block the camera, but the way that I'm positioned, I certainly don't want to block the camera. I could also start from the bottom as well. So. And remember, on the sides, your lines are going to be closer together just from the purpose of a perspective drawing, and that's really what we're doing here as well. So let's darken up some of these pieces at the top, and especially on the left side. We said we would do that from the purpose of the light source, so let's do that. And let's see what else we can do to just make this even more realistic. So I would say we can maybe just get some tones in here, and by doing so, maybe just lightly, very lightly, just getting the darker area of the garlic, just getting the darker area smudged out. And this is tricky because I don't have a smudging tool with me, but I guess I'm purposely going to smudge over the line here because I don't want to go onto the white space, and then I'll use my eraser later to clean that up. I'll do the same over here, smudge in the dark and smudge in the dark area over here. This is really going to help bring things out, as they say. So I'm purposely kind of getting some of these brighter spots. Now, if I really want to accentuate some of the bright, I can get my eraser and just reallocate some lighter space there and some lighter space here. And maybe one more over here. Okay, and then maybe just clean up those white spaces I just created with a smudge, like what I call a smudge hit. Okay. Oh, and then maybe one more over here. One of my new favorite things to do is I use garlic, and instead of making like a pasta sauce, like with orange tomatoes and stuff, I literally just put some olive oil, garlic, and sometimes I put like a little bit of onion, salt, pepper, and lemon rinds, if that makes sense. And I actually create like a really nice and simple pasta sauce without having to make like a whole tomato sauce. So for me, like, I love making garlic sauce with the pasta because it also saves you time. You save time when you make a pasta sauce with garlic and olive oil. It's like the fastest thing ever. If you've ever had to make like pasta sauce with like tomato sauce, it takes a long time. So hopefully you're appreciating that little tip. Let's change pencils up just a bit. And what we'll do is, actually, you know what I would really like to do is get more eraser here. This is far too much dark tone, and I'd really like to bring this out And there's nothing wrong with like looking at your drawing and just saying, yeah, this is something that I want to fix up. In fact, the dark areas shouldn't be very wide. You're gonna have more garlic clove protruding than you are dark. So you should actually have more light than dark. That's what I was trying to say, okay? So if you ever get to the point where I was just at, where you have a little too much of the dark, what you can do is just grab your eraser and just kind of add a little more light, and you can do that. So it's like a working process too, right? You definitely want to keep this moving, keep it going. So now what we can do is maybe just allocate some of these lines that we had drawn, because at this point it's actually quite a nice thing to do, because we don't want to really smudge very much after this point. So using a 7B is nice, because what you're really doing is putting the final kind of lines on this drawing of a garlic, right? So. How are you doing, by the way? Are you drawing? Are you watching? We'd love to know. You know, we create these drawings. Hopefully that you're following along, or even drawing yourself. If you're drawing for any particular reason, please let us know. We'd love to know like what brought you here and how you kind of stumbled across this drawing. Maybe you're just watching, or maybe you're just looking for some facts about garlic. Either way, we appreciate you being here. Let's just get a few more lines on this other side. And I think over here we just want to clean this up. I think the eraser was a little too much. So what we could probably do is just get a couple more lines here, and we'll probably use our smudge technique shortly as well. I think if we clean up the outer part here, this will look a lot better. So let's do that. Let's take our eraser and just clean up the outer area that was like impacted by the smudging, okay? I think we're looking pretty good. My only concern here is just maybe some of the lines towards the bottom. So just getting some of these lines just looking a little bit better. And you can actually reapply some of that piece at the bottom. I forgot what it's called, but you can actually just, you could just kind of reapply it, if you will. And it's a little bit sporadic and random in terms of what it looks like. You can also just clean up the line over here. And you might also be inclined to just add the tiniest bit of shadowing down under here, and well, shading, whatever, because our light source is to the left. So this is a good way to finish off this drawing, by just creating the tiniest little bit of shadowing just over here. And it'll help make this look a lot more realistic as well. So you see how that darker little area that I just put on, it just helps give that like a much more realistic look, doesn't it? It really makes it look more realistic. So Hopefully you're seeing that as well. And I'm gonna bring it up on the sides. I want this dark shadow to kind of be brought up right around the other side. So I'm actually purposely doing that. It's funny because it's these kind of last little things that really make the drawing come together, right? I don't know if you experienced that in your own drawings, but even over here, notice like this is a little too light. Let's get some darker areas just over here as well. Good. So just remember that when you put those lines, those, we'll call them garlic lines, you don't want to smudge them out after, because in real life, those lines are actually really pronounced and really visible. You can even go back and you can, like what I'm doing, which is like re-establishing those lines. I'm calling them garlic lines to be funny, but in reality, they are very pronounced lines on garlic. So if you ever have like a gap even in some of those lines, you can actually go back and just purposefully make sure that they're pronounced and make sure that they're visible as well. So let's add just a tiny bit of shading at the bottom, because we also have some light source at the top, and you want to just get, you know, some darker areas right towards the bottom. That's really how this can look a little more realistic, especially near this little nub, right? This nub that has that dark piece. It actually might look more realistic if you can like darken up that area as well. So I think we're pretty much at the end of our drawing. I think we'll leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed the facts as well as just learning how to draw a piece of garlic, an entire piece of garlic. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you're cooking with some more garlic, or maybe trying that pasta dish that I recommended, or that pasta sauce, sorry. But other than that, let's just finish this up. I want to say thank you so much for watching, but I'm not done yet. All right, I think we're good. No, let's do a couple more. All right, I think that's pretty much it. So at this point, I'll say thank you so much for watching and have a great day.